Today, let's dive into the 10 strategies for us to go direct to owners to create seller conversations, ultimately more listing appointments, and for you to get listings in this very difficult seller's market, low inventory market in 2021. Now, I'm going to share with you how I'm using the tool PropertyRadar to help my clients get the edge in today's market. I did create a great relationship with PropertyRadar. I do have an affiliate referral relationship. So if you find value and you want to contribute to me, please use my PropertyRadar link that I'll give you down below. That just supports me and my content. I appreciate that. So let's dive in. First and foremost is taking the buyer that you just wrote an offer with. Go into PropertyRadar. Go in and go, hey buyer, what would you like? You wanted a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story in this neighborhood with this type of lot, with or without the pool. Great. Here, let me go. There are 32 of those in my PropertyRadar right now. And there's some with phone numbers, some with emails, and we know exactly, they're in exactly what they want. Hey, Mr. Buyer, I'm going to go communicate with them and see if I can find you an off-market opportunity. And oh, what happens, my friends, when you and I go have 32 conversations. We send 32 letters. We do a ringless voicemail, maybe some door knocking. We get more listing opportunities. The key thing here is PropertyRadar gives you and I the tool set to just go customize exactly what our buyers want so that we can just go direct to the owner on behalf of our buyers. Okay, a shout out to Danny Gould, one of my coaching clients up in Silicon Valley. He is using this pitch at open houses and over the phone with buyer leads and then showing them in the buyer consultation, and people are mesmerized and signing buyer brokerage agreements hand over fist. My great coach, Fred Doliak, who I introduced PropertyRadar to this strategy, a bunch of his coaching clients are killing it with this too. So guys, let's get after this. It's 2 things. Your buyers love it and it creates more seller conversations. Number 2 reason why I think we need to be using this is, number 1 is the LLC lookup tool. So PropertyRadar, if you have the owner's information, you have a phone number, you have an address, you can just do a one-time lookup. Now some of you have tax records in your MLS and you can do this, but it doesn't give us the phone number or the email, okay? But we can get some access to this information, and here you can get some highly accurate phone numbers and some email address. Plus, we can actually look up LLCs. So shout out to Aaron Norris on the PropertyRadar YouTube channel. He did a whole video on how to do this. Take a look at that. Number 2, I'm going to be doing some education on database cleanup, and we need to improve the contact information of our databases, our past clients, our sphere. Hey guys, I could get my VA and say, here's all of my past clients. Here's the ones I don't have existing addresses for. I could sign it to my VA to go get the existing address and put it into my database. Database cleanup, okay? Sean O'Toole brought this up to me as another one with the lookup tool. He said, if you get a referral, which this happens to us all the time. So I'm talking to a past client, they say, my neighbor that I spoke to is thinking about selling. And then what do? Like, hey, can I call them? Can you introduce me? And they're like awkward and uncomfortable. All you need to do now is we just need to say, is that 2 doors down, 2 doors down with you on the right, on your side of the street? And they say yes. And you go, cool. PropertyRadar, 2 doors down. Oh, Bob and Susie, phone number, email, all the information I need. You can now just go direct and go get that listing opportunity. Okay, for some of you that have internet leads who you've created good conversations with, but you're not entirely sure, you want to use the lookup tool, that's a great idea. Maybe some additional information that you need prior to listing appointments, use the lookup tool. And then any cherry picking with the expired cancels withdrawn. So we can use the lookup tool. It's not a mass, like we couldn't upload our MLS data and get a new list of expired, cancels, withdrawn. That's not how this works. You could do one at a time and cherry pick. Okay, so now, why do I like the lookup tool in the phone number data of PropertyRadar over all of my friends? My friends at LandVoice, my friends at Vulcan 7, Espresso Agent, Realty Resource, Arch Telecom. These are all my friends. Red X. These are all my friends. Problem with those guys is what PropertyRadar does is they do a verification of the phone number. So they'll actually disqualify phone numbers and give you only the ones that have a highest probability of accuracy. So that, my friends, for all my top agents out there who are good listing agents, that is gold. Because you and I want less phone numbers. All these other companies giving you 3 phone numbers. You call all 3 and they all suck. Don't give me any one of the phone numbers at all. Just give me the one that's verified. So you get the verification and not all the BS. Less phone calls, more conversations. You're welcome. Okay, let's go to strategy number 3. So lookup tool is an amazing tool. We all need that as top agents right now. Let's go to number 3, absentee owners, the non-owner occupied. This is probably one of the most important strategies right now in 2021. Okay, I did a great interview with Paul Campanaro on his script. I did a couple other sessions on this on my YouTube channel, so go check that out. But PropertyRadar will give you the whole absentee owner of each one of these areas, gives you all the phone numbers. If there's LLCs, you can look it up. This is a great resource for our absentee owner strategy. Number 4, our geographic farm. So, as most of you know, I just did a big training session on the geographic farm, and I'll show you how to guarantee success in the geographic farm. So now, for those of you that have a farm, go into PropertyRadar and let's extract all the information, the absentee owners, the old expired, cancel, withdrawn, right? Let's look at, the owners that exist. Let's find the properties where there's renters in it, right? Let's build a phone number database, an email database. Have some fun. Build your direct mail list. Customize your direct mail list from the PropertyRadar tools so that you have a better, higher quality direct mail list, sending less pieces and getting more responses from that. Guys, the PropertyRadar tool for a geographic farm is really an important piece to this puzzle. Let's go number 5, building custom audiences. Now, you guys are going to love this. Okay, if you've done any Facebook advertising, if you've looked at any of Google's products, Google Display or YouTube ads, the whole key to the success of those 2 plays, Facebook, Instagram ads, Google Display, and YouTube ads, is the quality of the owner data that you're feeding Facebook and Google. Now, both of them shut us down from fair housing. So, PropertyRadar, go to a zip code, pull your list of all the owners, and you can create a custom audience code tool that you can import into Facebook for Facebook and Instagram, and into Google for Google Display and or YouTube. This, my friends, guys, worth it. If you want to put high quality information from you in front of owners in a zip code, this is your tool. Learn more about that. Number 6, I did a whole video on what I refer to as high probability sellers. What am I talking about here? If you haven't watched that video, you need to. This is where PropertyRadar gives you demographic data. Demographic data. See, when I started dreaming with data, I went, wait a minute, in San Diego, there's a bunch of 30 to 40 somethings have young kids who live in a condo or a townhome, who have 40% equity, who I keep meeting up here in North County, San Diego, and they're selling that with a huge chunk of money and coming up over into my marketplace, and it's 2 sales, sell, buy. Can I look that up? Oh, I did. That was amazing. That's called a trade up, sell, buy in your market, right? High probability seller leveraging demographic tools. Then in one of my communities, I've talked about this, one of my old farms where there's 2-story houses. Houses were built in 1999, 2000, 2001, and after 20 years, the young families raised their kids. They're in a 2-story, kids are off to college. Oh, surprise, surprise, all of the listings that are coming up in that neighborhood are that demographic. Could I pull that in PropertyRadar? Yes. Could I target them? Yes. High probability sellers. Watch my video on that one. It's a good one. Number 7, strategy to get more listings. Around listings and sales. Here's the thing. All of my coaching clients, I am challenging you and everybody out there. If you don't have a predetermined, just listed, just sold, either a marketing strategy, a ringless voicemail strategy, a direct mail strategy, you are missing the boat right now. The problem is most of you, the tool sets that we were previously playing with were terrible. They're like, here's a radius of 1 mile, and you're like, that's useless. Or you're relying on going to a title rep to give you a list, and it's like, you're going on to Google Maps and trying to draw this thing out. So the access to creating a quick list of the best neighbors to communicate with, send a letter to, make a phone call to, do a ringless voicemail to connect with and communicate with a marketing plan was limited to you didn't have access to a great tool. Okay, so now everybody has no excuse. We've got the tool, we can customize the list, and we can go create awesome, just listed, under contract, open house invitations, just sold campaigns, and increase the number of listings that we're getting from the listing you just sold. Get on that. Number 8 is the 2 to 4 unit prospecting list. For a lot of you that know me well, we all should be in the business of helping people buy and sell more of these 2 to 4 units, the duplexes and triplexes and the fourplexes inside of your community. So this is an opportunity for us to build that list. If you were to get a buyer who's interested, an investor who's interested, we can now just go direct to those owners, build the relationship with them. It's really a niche demographic farm. It's just a niche farm for us to just have a certain number of business from the 2 to 4 units. Number 9, shout out to my client, Mr. Mike Atkis in New Jersey. So Mike has been bugging me for years. Patrick, I've got this great builder client. I've got actually 2 of them. They love buying this type of property, tearing it down, building 2 really nice units. They buy it for 4, 4.5, 5. They build 2. I get the listing on the 2, and I'm usually selling them for, $8 to $1 million each. And he's like, man, they just keep begging me to find more of these properties. We didn't have a tool set to pull that off. We have it now. See, the other thing about one of the cool tool sets of PropertyRadar is you can build a dynamic list. So Mike and I can go in there and we can customize exactly what we're looking for, that his 2 builders would be looking for, that we can make marketing and communicate with those people. But what we can do is we can build a list that stays there in PropertyRadar. And that list is constantly being updated. So if one of them sells or trades, it falls off the list. If one of them gets listed, it falls off the list. So if we wanted to maintain a list that we're just going to market for the rest of his career, so that he can feed this just money-making machine called this developer relationship. Great. We built the list in PropertyRadar. We create direct mail campaigns. We create, Ringless voicemails. We do whatever we can, make some phone calls. We do letter campaigns nonstop. Okay. The other thing on this that I really like talking about these lists is PropertyRadar. If for all of you, we all have good CRMs, or we have different marketing companies that we use or whatnot. They'll actually help you create one API as a part of the baseline service. One API. So they'll build the API to go from PropertyRadar. You create a really nice list directed over to your CRM. Super valuable. Okay. Last thing, number 10, is your personal investments. Meaning, my friends, if you in your neighborhood where you live, in your geographic farm, if you are driving down the street and you see a property that probably has a little bit of problems or potential issues, why aren't you contacting that owner and either A, buying it yourself, fixing it, flipping it, and making a huge profit, B, going and communicating to the owner, figuring out what's going on. This is one of your neighbors. It's a property in your community. Establishing a relationship with them, wholesale it to an investor if you want. Fine, right? Whatever. But number 10, the reason why PropertyRadar was designed from Sean O'Toole, 15, 20 years ago, is because he was an investor and he wanted this data set. And it became the most famous data set in California and the 5 states that it started with. And so this tool was designed for real estate investors, which today, this is why I want to make sure you have this tool. Now, so I need you to make sure that you're not letting all of the investors take the huge profit opportunity sitting in your neighborhood and in your farm because it wasn't on your radar. You didn't have the tool. You didn't have the app. When you're driving down the street and you're like, what's that? Pull up your PropertyRadar app and go, oh, that property. Here's all the information. Save to this list to follow up on, and then come back over. Oh, move this property over API over to this marketing campaign that I already pre-designed. Well, that was pretty slick. Send it over to my CRM and tag it as X. Oh, that's pretty cool. And let's follow up with that until you and I get the deal. See, guys, can you see why I think that this is an absolute no-brainer? The tool set, every agent should have this tool set if they're truly committed to becoming a top listing agent. I'm not knocking all the other tool sets. I'm friends with all the owners, but they didn't give us the access to the demographic data. They didn't give us all this other access to verified phone numbers. They didn't give us good lookup tools. And they kind of, we need better tool set today in a super low inventory environment where expireds and cancels and for sale by owners are very difficult and highly competitive and not enough. So, my friends, again, if you saw value in this, it would help me a lot if you signed up using my affiliate and referral link. That supports me, my content, what I'm doing. So if you did that, I super appreciate it. High five, right? But regardless, guys, as top real estate agents, we need this tool. Let's get after it. Hope this was helpful. In the comments below, tell me, what do you need to work on in 2021 to get more listings? Reach out to me. Let me know what else you guys want me to cover to be able to support you guys with some of the technical strategies to get these things done, to serve you, your family, and your community. Have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you out there in the field.